After receiving the mobile phone, Mrs. Wilson called Horia again, but the other side still reminded her that it was turned off. Old Mrs. Wilson said in confusion, "What's the matter? Why is the phone turned off?" Noah said, "Mom, isn't it normal for the phone to shut down automatically when it is out of power? Besides, it is not convenient to call her again and again when she is outside." The old Mrs. Wilson threw the phone to him and said angrily, "Just keep trying until you get through." Noah was helpless, so he sat in a chair and kept hanging up and calling out. It lasted more than half an hour, but the phone still prompted shut down. Noah felt more and more in his heart that things didn't seem to be right. It stands to reason that Horia went out to cheat money with Lien, not outdoors, but indoors. It should be very convenient to charge the phone. Moreover, he also reminded her before that she should keep in touch at all times when the time comes, and if there is any accident, he can rescue her. Therefore, it should not shut down. What exactly is going on? Thinking of this, he couldn't help but sit up straight, his face became serious, and he said to himself, "This is not right." Old Mrs. Wilson glanced at him and snorted coldly, "Don't act here, what the hell is going on?" Noah suddenly felt a little irritable, and he felt a little uneasy. So he opened his mouth and said to the Lady Wilson, "Mom, don't make trouble with Horia. I can't contact Horia now. I will find someone else to see if anyone is with her." After speaking, Noah dialed Lien again. Like Horia's mobile phone, the receiver also indicates that it has been turned off. Then, Noah dialed Ron and Nivea again, and the result was the same. Is this not too weird? At this time, Noah's heart was completely confused. He scratched his hair in a panic. The bad premonition in his heart became stronger and stronger. Old Mrs. Wilson saw his state. The more she looked at it, the less he was acting, and she realized that something really happened. So she hurriedly asked, "What's going on with you? You tell Mom the truth." Noah shook his head and said, "I don't know what's going on." The old Mrs. Wilson asked, "Then what do you look unsettled? Why can't Horia contact me yet? What are you hiding from me?" Noah hesitated for a moment, sighed, and said, "Mom, let me tell you the truth. Actually, Horia set up a game for Elaine today, found a senior, and played mahjong with Elaine. The money in her hand and Charlie's villa were both cheated. In this way, when the bank seizes our villa, won't you be able to live in the Thompson first-class product you are thinking of?" When Mrs. Wilson heard this, her eyes lit up and she blurted out with excitement, "Is the villa now in your hands? When can I live in?" When the old Mrs. Wilson heard the words Thompson, her eyes straightened. She has been greedy for Charlie's big villa, dreaming that she can live in it. She even wanted to die there when she was old. There are some superstitions and sayings in the folk, such as, "When you are dying, it is best not to die in the hospital, otherwise you will not find your way home." For another example, "You must wear a shroud before you die, otherwise there will be no clothes to wear there." For example, if you live in a mansion before you die, you will be able to give birth to a wealthy family in your next life and enjoy the glory and wealth. Therefore, Mrs. Wilson also longed that she could live in a top luxury villa like Thompson until she died. Last time, she directed Harold to rob the villa. As a result, several bodyguards of the Wilson family were beaten into dogs, and Harold was beaten terribly alongside. From then on, although the Lady Wilson broke off the idea of grabbing, she still had a greedy heart. When she heard that Noah and Horia were planning to trick that villa into their design, she was excited. At this time, Harold and Wendy had just returned from outside, and when they entered the villa, they became excited when they heard this. Harold walked to the front and asked, "Dad, you said that Mom is going to get to Charlie's villa? Did she succeed?" Wendy was also very excited and asked, "Yes, Dad, did you succeed?" Noah sighed at this time. The last WeChat message she sent me said that she had deceived Elaine's cash, the house she lives in, and Charlie's Thompson first-class villa. Before Noah could say a word, Mrs. Wilson was very excited and smiled. "This is really a great thing. It's really great. So, when the bank comes to seal up this villa, we will be able to move in. Thompson first product is gone from their hands. Ha ha ha. Elaine, that uncultivated poor ghost shrew, should be cheated." It is best to cheat her to bankrupt her family. Noah smiled bitterly. Mom, even if things are done in the villa, we still have to share it with other people. If you want to keep this villa, it doesn't matter if you want to replenish it. But it doesn't matter. Now the key is Horiah can't be found anymore. I can't get in touch with her now, and the few people who organized the game with her can't get in touch either. They are all lost.